Alright, let me make sure my mic is working. Hello? Okay. Great. Welcome in, everyone. We're about to get this last preseason race underway. It is the Rookie Showcase. We've done it for the last probably 4 or 5 seasons. And it's just an opportunity for some of the newer guys to get a race under their belt and race a couple people that they'll see throughout the season. And we've got a couple people that are already signed to a team in here, kind of as pace cars. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm seeing your guys' chats up on the screen. Thank you, Bucko, for the well wishes. Okay, we just restart the session timer, I guess. I haven't seen that one before. But, oh. Yeah, it is. It's not that you're too fast. It's that you use assists and are too fast. Well, no, you guys don't use assists. Never mind. Yeah, you guys were straight up too fast. Never mind. 2 other people got banished for using assists and being too fast. But yeah, this is the Rookie Showcase. This might be the opposite of too fast, but you never know. We'll see just where everyone lines up on. This should be majority of the Tier 3 grid this season, which will be being drafted on Friday. So, stay tuned for that. We'll have a stream up for the draft. Have no idea how we're going to do it, but we will. Get some of this up. And here we go. So, throughout the lineup, yes, season does start next week. Where's Pizza Dog? He's, I don't know. Cloud should have to use a controller. So yeah, we've got a couple different people here, and I might be changing some names in the Discord, but Kryptonic is the top driver on your left side who's flipping his DRS on and off. Then we have Caden. Here we have Ant in the Discord. That name might change. Flyer DJ Vivoda, who is in Tier 1 with Ferrari as their team principal. We have, hopefully I'll say this right, Zizzer. And then Icy Heatley, who is also in Tier 1 for Red Bull. Flower Boy, rookie. Coach, also in Tier 1. Blue Knight, we have Cabrito, I think is how I should say that. But he said his name on PC or EA should be changing soon, so that should line up with his name. We have Druid, we have Malachi, whose name will probably change in the Discord to just being Alex. Red Panda, EA, who is in Tier 2 this season, and Mike D, who's also in Tier 2. Everyone's saying hi in the chat. And let's ride on board with Kryptonic on his first lap of the Rookie Showcase. Being a rookie himself, all the rookies were given advance notice for the track. They had about 2 weeks for this track, and then the calendar released last week, so we've been able to see what tracks are out first. Canada, obviously, our first race, and holy, a McLaren in the middle of the road, but Kryptonic navigates traffic well. And looking like this is a pretty decent lap so far, maybe a little bit of a lockup into the heavy braking zone. Tio Will has joined, so we get an extra driver, and There we have a grid penalty with a collision with Coach, so not sure what happened there, but we'll probably see some messages about it. Maybe some impeding early. As Kryptonic goes through this tricky Sector 3, keeps it pretty nice and tidy, maybe missing the apex a little bit, but keeping his foot on the gas, great exit. And it's going to be a 124.0. And there's another penalty. I mean, are we crashing into everyone? I don't know what's going on. Coach does a 136 after contact in his lap. Not sure what is going on with Cabrito here. As Zizzer goes a 26.9. Some of these names I might butcher, so sorry about that. Mike D also goes 139 as Icy puts in a 25.9. Caden with a 27.8. Go on board with Druid, and we'll probably see a couple times come in on the board. Druid is on a hot lap, has been in the last couple races. So good to see driver practicing, trying to get better. Red Panda goes P2 with a 24.9, and Kryptonic might be the best of the bunch here, as he is not really being challenged for P1 right now. With a 24.09, almost a full second ahead of P2. We'll see if anyone can change that. Obviously, some of the Tier 1 guys in here. Coach goes a 25.7. Druid goes a 27.0, and there's Heatley a 23.7. He said he hasn't really practiced very much, so could be a very good time for no practice. I think we had a time come in, not sure where. I think it was Vovoda, the 35. Coach is a veteran. I went through today. We had EA go P4. I went through today and looked at the originals, and Mel wasn't an original, which is crazy, so I had to give him the role. He's definitely in Can-Am OG. Ant goes a 130.2 in his first lap, and there's something on the track, like sliding across it. Let's ride on board with Blue Knight. If my track map doesn't lie, it looks like that might have been a purple Sector 2. A little wide there. Comes in with a 26.4, which puts him P9. Respectable time. 4 people without a lap. We have Flyer DJ, who looks to be starting a lap. Flower Boy in the pits. We have Cabrito, who has a 10-place grid penalty, so I don't think it's necessarily going to matter too much where he's qualifying. He's going to be knocked down the order quite a bit with those 2 contact penalties. Driving down into the straight. A nice sunset view here in Abu Dhabi. See if anyone can dethrone Kryptonic, or specifically another rookie can dethrone him. She's sitting quite comfortably above Red Panda. And Kryptonic is coming out for another lap. Flyer DJ now coming in through Sector 3. Everyone on a lap behind him except Flower Boy, who's still in the pits. Still 9 minutes remaining though. Track will probably warm up a bit. Flyer DJ goes P9 with a 126.2. And here we go on board with Cabrito, who does go off the track a little bit and has now compromised his exit out of that chicane. And in front of him is Malachi or Alex or whatever. We'll just call him Alex for the simplicity of what you see on the screen is what I can hopefully call most of these people. Alex through the final sector. Now through the final turn, coming to the line. That's a 24.4, so cuts the gap in half, with being about 4/10 behind Kryptonic, maybe a little less, and a little more than, I think, 5/10 in front of Red Panda. Good lap from him, puts him up in the top 3 as it looks like Cabrito has gone back into the pit, still yet to set a time. Both of the McLarens struggling to get a time here as Kryptonic goes pole again, provisional pole, 123.4, beating Heatley's time by 3/10. So I don't know how long he'll stay in Tier 3 if he's pulling that. Might be an idea for someone who has open Tier 1 seat. Or if someone wants to make a Tier 1 seat open. There was definitely a possibility that some rookie was going to absolutely exceed the expectations that we all had for the rookies, which is, oh, they'll all probably start in Tier 3 and move their way up. Some of these people are going to have pretty good pace, and I feel like Kryptonic is definitely a candidate, as well as Alex putting in good times, and hopefully we'll find some seats in the top couple tiers. But that's ultimately up to the team principals, so we'll see what strategies everyone has going into the draft. I think Tier 1 is pretty much full. There's one seat at Aston Martin, and Tier 2 is full. So some changes will have to be made for any of these drivers to get up into those 2 tiers, but I'm going to hopefully make that a possibility within the rules. We haven't done much of inter-team promotions or demotions in the season, so looking to change some of those. Yes, I can invite Hitch. Teal will make it 18, and then if Hitch joins, he'll make it 19, racing from the back of the grid. Flower Boy does get a time in, but it is only good enough for P16 with a 130.9. Send Cloud an invite too. Okay, we're going to have a race for the top. Is Cloud on? Apparently, all the Tier 1 drivers just coming out to the rookie race to stomp on them. Here we have Ant, gets a little wide. In Sector 1, maybe compromises his speed through this sector. And yes, finds himself about 3/10 up. And loses the car a little bit out of that corner. It's tricky You want to keep a higher gear, and there's plenty of space, so you want to keep it pinned. Aim for that outside and try to carry as much speed as you can. Through the chicane into the second DRS zone of the lap. The second and final. And Cloud has joined, so yep, Cloud, Hitch, Heatley, all some of your top tier 1 guys in the rookie race, so good luck. If any of the rookies can beat them, then, I mean, maybe from last it's a little different, but it's definitely going to be a strong showing if you can finish ahead of some of those guys. Staying on board with Ant through this lap. Does drop a tiny bit of time, but not going to change the places. Red Panda out on a lap. Let's get up here, and it's invalid. Anyone else? Looks like Icy just started a lap. Looks like Cabrito also got a decent lap in, if I'm correct, a 29.0. Moves him up a little bit, but still a 10-place grid penalty. Hitch and Cloud managed to join the session, but T.O. Will, who's in here, as we have an Aston Martin sideways, T.O. Will, who's in here, has not yet joined the session, so not sure what happened here. Icy in the top 10, but looking to improve, only needs to drop maybe a couple tenths to move up 2 spots. And there's 2 tenths right there. If he can hang on to it through the third sector, he could find himself up into maybe that P8, P7 range. And Sector 3, you can gain a lot of time depending on how you take some of these corners. Gets a little loose there, but looks like he recovered well right on the edge. And invalid there, just a little too far. We'll see what time it would be if he puts in a time. Would have been a 26.3, which is not an improvement. So lost a ton of time in that Sector 3, maybe just losing the car and going invalid. But we'll see if he can coast it around and get another lap in. Here's Flyer DJ just finding himself outside of the top 10. Needs 3 tenths. Is he going to find it in the last sector? No. He is going to add just a couple hundredths and stay where he is. Zizzer is down about a half second, which would basically put him into P7, closing in on P6. Some of these rookies are going to have good seasons and find their way up through the tiers in Can-Am. And I don't think many people were expecting that. And here we go into the final corner. And that is going to be a 125.3, putting him P7 by about 2 tenths. But Voda is down on his time, it looks like, in Sector 1, gaining 2 tenths. That's a lot of time for Sector 1, which is not a very long sector and is mostly straight. Kryptonic isn't even going to come out. He's in the pits, and that's going to be his final time. Voda looks like he loses the car a little bit. Probably going to cost him quite a bit of time here as Coach is, looks like, up on his time through Sector 1. Is anyone dropping? And Mike D is dropping 2 tenths, which would gain him 1 spot. He needs to drop plenty of time to crack this top 3. And that's it. We have Ant and Cabrito. Hitch is done. Looks like Cloud's going to get a hero lap after joining about the 3-minute mark. And Mike D is going to cross the line, and it's not going to be enough. Only needed 2 hundredths, but couldn't find an improvement. EA just starting a lap. He's 2 tenths down. Vivoda didn't lose that much time and comes in with a 25.0 to go up to P5. after we watched him almost lose the car. It's saying outlap for Heatley, but that should just mean that his time is final. We have a couple guys who are boarding, who are pitting. Well, we'll stay on board as Alex goes P2 with a 123.6, beating out Heatley in the top, and EA might have been impeded there by a Williams driver. Not sure who. Might have been Druid. So Red Bull's off the track, and is that going to hurt EA's time? Is he going to still be able to find a couple tenths to find himself in the top 5, maybe top 4? He does find 2 tenths, but it's not enough, and we would have plenty of impeding penalties through this session, as without even seeing, Cloud goes P9, not even sure if he had a setup on. But there's your order. Kryptonic with a fantastic time of 123.4. No one could dethrone him on provisional pole. Alex P2 with a 123.6. Another good time to beat out Heatley, who is a very respectable Tier 1 driver, the 123.7. Red Panda didn't improve much after that first lap of 124.9. Vivoda goes to 25.0, 25 and 8 thousandths. Mike D so close. EA was 400ths behind that. Zizzer in P8 with a 125.3. Cloud just behind that in his hero lap, the only lap that he did. We have Coach with a 25.7, first kind of big gap that we've seen. Icy 125.9, Flyer 126.2, Blue Knight 126.3, 127.0, and very close behind was Caden, the 127.08. We have Cabrito, who has that 10 position penalty for impeding twice in one outlap, I'm pretty sure. Ant in P17 with a 30.1, and Flower Boy with a 30.5. Hitch starts on the back with no time, as well as T.O. Will, but I'm not sure if he actually joined or what happened. I'm pretty sure it said that he joined. Let's hope that everyone gives us about a minute. Doesn't immediately ready up, hopefully. Everyone take a deep breath and adjust their strategies and wait a little bit so that we can get underway here in Abu Dhabi and everyone can have their proper setups, their proper strategies, whatever they want to do for tires. I think it's the most important in F125 versus any other game before it, to get the tires right and to save your tires. The tire wear is quite drastic, just how much they wear compared to the last couple games. And apparently we did start pretty early. Not sure who it is, I can't really see. I couldn't even see the countdown, so that's not very helpful. Well, here we go, just a formation lap. Again, even if someone is away, they could just not drive the formation lap, possibly. And they would relatively be okay. Gives people some time to feel it out and to drive a little easy lap. Doesn't look like T.O. Will is in here. I'll try to invite him once more, but I don't know if it's going to work at this point in the race. I swear I saw him join. Let's get the lap times up. And we'll just flip on position changes. And we'll see how this race pans out. I mean, a couple Tier 1 guys you would think would be in the top bunch, but we have a lot of drivers. And I think the big difference could be just the assists that people are using. So some of these guys might be full traction, which, again, isn't necessarily what we want out of Tier 3. We don't want insanely fast people who are running full assists. We definitely encourage our faster guys to take off the assists and, encourages better racing and better driving. So there's your tire strats. Everyone on the mediums, Icy on the softs, and Flower Boy on the hard tires. As we see them form up to the grid, do our usual thing and see about top 5. And let's see this start. Yeah, we can go. Wow, that's kind of a weird view. Let's see how Icy does on these soft tires. We have 5 lights. Some of these cars are angled so far inside, and away we go. This car's cut to the middle, and it looks like Red Panda with a bad start, getting passed by almost everyone. As we see a little bit of contact through turn 1, but I think everyone gets through there pretty cleanly. And we have some side-by-side battles here as Voda and EA. EA does get the move done. Hitch at the back already up 4 places, a couple people moving down, but I think everyone, for the most part, got through that pretty cleanly. Red Panda trying to keep up, and around the back of the grid, we're almost 3 wide as we see coming down this first straight. The top 3, top 5 are pretty much in order. And let's see the braking zone. We don't have, doesn't look like any crazy moves from anyone. So it looks like we've made it through pretty cleanly in this first lap. No incidents, no people getting destroyed, but we can see the positions changed. Wasn't an easy getaway for everyone, and you can see throughout the order, some people moved way up as we see Hitch up 7 spots, Icy up a spot on those soft tires. And some people were losers out on this first lap. Blue Knight losing 3 spots, Red Panda also losing 3 spots, but nothing crazy yet. No one losing, 10 spots off a spin, as we do have a retirement, and it looks like it's going to be a safety car. Or at least a VSC. We just see a caution. That's Ant, who has retired from the session. Almost made it a lap. Yep, and it looks like this is a full safety car, as we can see it come out along the back. So these drivers, these positions changed, will freeze and everyone will form up. Sad for Ant that he couldn't complete more than 1 lap. Not sure what happened towards the back of the lap there. Not sure if there was contact or what, but he is out of this race. And do we see any damage on the back couple cars? It doesn't look like it. So I'm not sure what happened, but unfortunate. Not sure what everyone's assists are. That'll be for you to figure out as team principals. That'll be our day tomorrow. Figuring out, or just after the race, figuring out who's on what assists and what tier we can put them in, and maybe shuffling around a couple guys. Thank you, Dave, for telling me how to do my job. Heatley does go into pit. Not sure if he had damage or not, but he's going to basically be passed by the entire grid now. He opts for the hard tire. What do you mean show it? We're on the formation lap. It says medium, so he's medium TC, right? And we have a 10-second time penalty for a severe collision. Not sure what happened. And it looks like end plates are missing. Whoa! You haven't missed much. We've seen Ant DNF in the first lap, and now we've under safety car, and Blue Knight has smashed into Druid in front of him, damaged his wing, and the safety car is in only after 2 laps. So we are ready to go racing again. Dave wants to see the telemetry of drivers, so we have that up. We normally don't. This Kryptonic is going to slow down and send us on our way. We have Kryptonic, Alex, and EA as your top 3. Mike D close behind, all ahead of the first Tier 1 driver on the grid, which is Zavoda in P5. Kryptonic starts away, and Alex reads the restart very well. And off they go. Did not pull any gap from Alex in P2. And EA as well, pretty close behind. No one with a crazy getaway, and we don't see any ambitious moves. Heatley boxed. We have a caution in Sector 1. That is the Haas of Heatley. Maybe getting out of shape or a little bit of collision. We're seeing some positions change. As you can see, down the order we go. Everyone pretty much in a clean DRS train, as here come the top 5, and go on board with Mike D. Voda close behind, staying in that DRS. Actually, Alex, the closest driver, fighting with Kryptonic. He is only 3/10 away. We're gonna see what he can do. On this first DRS straight of the lap. Looks like Coach is right behind Icy as well, and Icy is DNF'd. And is this another safety car? Yes, it is. Not sure what happened to Icy there. There was contact or not, as we see some positions change. Yep, and here we go again. Another safety car after about 1 lap of driving. I don't think DRS has been enabled this race. It's a good break for Heatley and Blue Knight towards the back, who had lost out because of some incidents earlier. So they will catch up to the field, and we'll group up together and get ready to go racing. Sucks for Icy and Ant. Wish they could have gotten a little more racing in, but I think qualifying is a good indicator of pace, and then just following up about assists. And obviously we want all the tiers to be competitive, so I think if you're a driver who is fast, and as we have the top 3, 4 drivers pitting off these medium tires, as we can pull up possibly tires or stops. So we're going to see a lot of hard tires come on. Already 2. EA pitting for his second set of mediums, so is Cloud. Yeah, most people electing to get on those hard tires early, and the mega undercut for Heatley did not work. As another safety car pretty much ensures that he doesn't gain any positions because of this. Thank you, Dave. Okay. And there's all your stops. So the top 4 have yet to stop. And Flower Boy as well. Only cars to not stop. And everyone is on the mediums or hards now. Some people electing for the medium, hard. Others going to medium to hard. Don't think anyone has pit off hards if they started on them yet, which is kind of unlucky because we've already had 2 safety cars, so pretty cheap stops. I think this might be pretty smart for the medium runners, just to either put on a new set of mediums or take the cheap stop and throw on the hards and see how they dag and maybe try and make them last, or just expect another stop. I would expect all these drivers are going for a 2-stop strategy. Icy was our only driver to start on the softs. But Kryptonic also did not pit, and was it for good reason? No, the top 4 still on those medium tires. A lot of drivers electing to pit them off. The top 4 are content. Would have been the time to pit. Leading the race is kind of hard to know when to pit, when not to. We have Cabrito pitting in the back, looking to form up under the safety car. Haven't had much consistent racing yet, but we'll see. Who started on pole? That would be your leader right now, Kryptonic. Entertain you in chat. What would I do to do that? Safety car is in this lap, and it looks like Cabrito is going to have some work to do to try and catch it for their back underway racing, and I think it's quite a long ways. And top 4 haven't pit, as well as Flower Boy, so expect them to pit at some point. We should be under racing again. We'll stay on board with Alex. Got a great restart last time. Zizzer does get a 10-second time penalty for ignoring a yellow flag. Not sure what he would have done to get that type of penalty. Looks like we have a big gap in the field. This Flower Boy maybe didn't get the best of restarts, and Alex going to send one up the inside of Caden. EA going to follow, and a little bit of contact, and Caden drops down the order to P7. A little bit deep on the brakes is Alex, and EA looking for a bit of gap. but is not going to find it. And we have drivers flying down the order. Looks like Flower Boy and maybe Cloud got tangled up, as there are big battles through this midsection of the field as Hitch and Heatley, both Tier 1 and both in the Haas for tonight's race. Alex looking for a way by Druid, who has not pit yet. These top three have not pit, still on the medium tires. And Alex going to find his way through on the outside, and EA going to do the same thing. Druid gets a 3-second time penalty for maybe trying to avoid these drivers charging through. EA and Alex paving their way through the field. Mike D not far behind, and Caden, after losing the car a bit, has held on to it. But again, he hasn't pit, and Hitch right on his tail. Should be able to make this move into DRS. Zizzer in P9 trying to hold off Heatley. The battery is pretty low here. Well, Heatley's is 80% compared to 11. Coach is at the back of this train as well. We'll throw the tires back on here. Top two have not pit now on those 8-lap mediums, and Hitch does get the move done on Caden, as you can see towards the front. Heatley going down the inside of Zizzer, and he is going to make that move stick. Under braking, no contact, and Coach now on the back of Zizzer as well, who I'm pretty sure is out of battery. He's going to be vulnerable, but he does have DRS. And Coach looking for a gap, maybe forced to the outside, and does not find one. Maybe looking to switch back down the inside, turns on the battery, is going to be on the outside for these couple little bends, and Zizzer defending well down the inside and parks it right in front of where Coach looked like he wanted to go. So no move is made, and Mike D does get by Druid, it looks like, as well as Hitch, and Druid is going to go into the pits, as we had a fastest lap that I think I missed. Speeding in the pit lane for Caden, that's going to be a 10-second penalty, and the safety car's out again. I'm not sure what caused it, but Kryptonic doesn't have a wing. I did not notice that Kryptonic and Vivoda had dropped behind Alex and EA in the top two, and Kryptonic has damage. Might be a full wing on track that maybe caused the safety car, but I mean, this benefits anyone who started last going up through the order, as Hitch joined the lobby, didn't even do a qualifying lap, and is P6 before halfway through the race. We've seen an absolute war in the midfield this race so far. Drivers moving up and down the order, and this is going to save Cabrito from getting lapped. Should be able to pass the safety car and get on his way, form up to the field, and hopefully be able to race a couple drivers. This is very much a Michael Massey race. Manufacturing entertainment. Getting the field as close together as we can, as the top two don't pit, and both Ferraris are going to pit, and they're going to have to double stack pretty much. This is not going to be good for Kryptonic. He's going to have to fight his way through the field. There goes Vivoda into the pits, and he comes out and Kryptonic goes in, but I mean, there goes the whole field passing the Ferrari bunch. Typical Ferrari strat. Vivoda comes out of the pits. Looks like we'll be P12, and Kryptonic just coming out of the pits. Missing out on a couple more places. Caden and Cabrito will form up to the back of this field. have stops. Everyone has done their one stop except Flower Boy. And Cabrito is the only driver who has done 2 stops. There's your positions changed. Hitch and Kryptonic. The winner and loser of the race. Hitch up 14 and Kryptonic down 14. Yin and Yang. Is there your tire data, and the medium's definitely going to have to pit again. But if you're on the 2-stop strat, I think right now, medium, hard, I think that is going to be ideal because the safety cars are keeping your tires and you save the hardest for last, which hopefully we don't see too many safety cars come out towards the end of this race. Already our 3rd one. I think about half of this race has been driven under the safety car so far. So if I had to guess, if I had to guess, I would think EA is on the proper strategy. If we can see the race director here, there's all your strategies. 2 mediums going to be boxing for the hards. Everyone else in the top 6 is on the medium to hard. We have 2 mediums to round out the top 10s. Pretty much everyone on the same strategy. We have medium to hard. Flower Boy hasn't pit. We have mediums. And we have medium hard, just pitting for whatever it looks like. And Flower Boy trying to make these hards last for as much of the race as he could. There's your penalties. Not too many track limit penalties so far, but we do have some speeding in the pit lane penalties and ignoring the yellow flag, which was under the last safety car for Zizzer, giving him a 10-second time penalty. Again, there's your positions changed. We can look at it a little more in depth as we should see the safety car coming in this lap, and Cabrito needs to find a way to get back up to this queue, as he did not under the last safety car. Okay, you can untime out Ryan if you'd like. I'm not telling you he needs to be timed out. It looks like the safety car will do another lap. So Cabrito should be able to catch up to the back. Let's see him carry on. This is the most racing we'll see, as we do see what? See Coach Pitt. Maybe thinking the hards will be able to last. No, Pitt's for softs. Not sure what Coach is up to here, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm not sure either about that. Looks like Cabrito has caught the field. The safety car is in this lap, giving a very early notice. Go. What are you talking about? Goat's annual removal from Can-Am is happening in 2 days at the draft. Dave is going to accidentally kick him. Accidentally, quote unquote. Alex, the king of restarts, just goes and gets a decent gap on EA, I would say, 0.6. Let's see if he can run away. Finally up in first place as Cloud gets a spot on Flyer DJ. And Hitch gets by Mike D. And how long is Alex going to be able to hold off Hitch, who is charging through the field, trying to complete a last to first? Let's go down through the midfield as Vivoda maybe going down the inside here. Flyer DJ kind of in the middle of all of it is managing to defend drivers side by side behind. And are they going to try and pass him over? No, they're just going to kind of form up, and Vivoda is going to maybe stay on the inside. No, dummy it a little bit. That doesn't bother Blue Knight and we have another caution. Hopefully it's not another safety car. Please, please, please. Get through that cleanly. We're looking for any battles. Get towards the top. Everyone is a little bit spaced out. Still this battle here. Blue Knight and Vivoda going at it. Blue Knight off the track a little bit, and Vivoda is going to go around the outside. We've seen a couple drivers do this move, and now Kryptonic behind Blue Knight looking down the inside and does make the move as Blue Knight keeps his line, keeps it on the track, but just cannot defend both Ferrari drivers coming through. And it looks like Vivoda going for another move, and Flyer DJ just kind of gives it up. Not sure what happened there as he goes into the pits. And these two Ferrari drivers now both in the points once again. Cloud trying to go through the field too, next to Heatley. Panda gets a 3-second time penalty. And Alex trying to pull out of that DRS is Kryptonic and Vivoda now. Kryptonic does get the place. And Blue Knight is on those 11-lap old mediums, looking to get off of them. And against the 2-lap softs of Coach, you can take a guess at who's going to get the place. And Coach powers by. Towards the back, we've got some battling as Heatley gets by Mike D. EA gets a 3-second track limit penalty, and here goes Caden around Cabrito. Flower Boy still on those original hards, looking for the place. Goes down the inside and does get the move done, maybe a little bit off track. Maybe compromises exit as they cross over each other a little bit, but no contact there. As Flower Boy takes the position up into P14. And Druid behind on those faster medium tires should be able to catch up, and he is going to catch up to both these McLaren drivers. Looking for a gap here as Kryptonic sets the fastest lap, and there you go. It looks like Flower Boy finally getting off those hard tires. Druid and Cabrito will gain a spot here. And Kryptonic does make up another place and has Zizzer in his sights. Hitch as well, blasting by in the DRS zone. Here comes Kryptonic. Forced to the outside by Zizzer, and he is gone. Not much that Zizzer can do there. Kryptonic back up into P7. And Mike D losing another place to Cloud, but not embarrassing at all. Hopefully can be a tier 1 reserve. We definitely need to confirm assists. So here's Mike D trying to stick on the back of it. Stick with Cloud and all these drivers up in front. This Cloud does go into box. and Alex way up at the front. We do have a caution in the back. Not sure who it is that's stopped on the track. And he does manage to keep it going. No safety car, thankfully. Alex is keeping that gap to Hitch at just over DRS range. EA still lagging behind a little bit. We have another caution in Sector 1. Down the field, have some battles. Voivode and Red Panda. Voivode down the inside. He's going to make the move, and will he have DRS to defend from Red Panda, who seems to get a little bit of a better exit, and is just... looks like the controller turning, apparently. That's apparently what it looks like, just... and you can tell that full traction control is in effect there. No battles down the field. Everyone's spaced out a bit. Looks like the battle for first and the battle for third is closing in, and Kryptonic already pulling up onto the back of Heatley. Crazy pace so far. Caution in Sector 3. We have McLaren slow, but manages to get it back going. Looks like Druid might be looking for the place down there, but hasn't made the move yet. Here we go. Might see a move up towards the front here, but DRS is open for Heatley as well. Maybe Heatley goes for a move on EA. Looking down the inside, is alongside, is in front, squeezes them a little bit, forces EA wide, and now EA goes a little bit deep, compromises his exit down this DRS straight. We have caution in Sector 1. That's a McLaren who is slow again, and Kryptonic does get by EA after Heatley squeezes him outside and made EA snap the car a little bit. Both of these drivers take the place, and Kryptonic is going to send a move down the inside, and he's going to take P3. What a late move there to just send it, and made the pass on Heatley look effortless, as he is on half laps, and Heatley has to pit off those hards as well as Alex, getting rid of those old hard tires, putting on the new mediums, and hoping to take them 10 laps to the end. A couple drivers pitting off of these tires, Caden as well, and now Cloud comes into play as he boxed early to undercut everyone to throw on these hards early, but everyone else on the medium tires. We have another caution in Sector 3. Doesn't look like it's going to result in anything. I think we're at the maximum safety car. Don't know why the third one came out. And Cloud up to P7, but still 4.5 seconds away from Alex, who's on fresh medium tires. Voivode probably going to try and make it to the end. We'll see on these hard tires. Mike D also in P4. Kryptonic is going to need a heroic effort to make it to the end on these tires. And Hitch maybe trying to go conservative, or trying to just pit this lap and see what happens, and we'll see what his strategy is. Up in P1, quite lonely, as he does elect to do another lap on these hards, maybe trying to take him to the end, and only doing the one stop, as Kryptonic is going to pit off these medium tires. Made his way up the field, and let's see if he loses any spots throughout the field. Mike D and Voivode both get by. EA pits behind him as well, and Alex is going to take all of these spots back up into P4. Cloud right behind him, trying to charge his way through the field, setting the fastest lap and getting away on his chase for Alex, who he's already made up a second to. We have another caution. It looks like Flyer DJ. Did get the car, kept it on track, and got it moving again. Another caution in Sector 3. Flyer DJ going straight over the curb. Not sure if he wanted to pit there or not. Drew it on the soft tires, and we do have a pass up at the front. Voda gets by Mike D on 5-lap younger hards. Again, maybe him and Hitch trying to make these hards last to the end. Will they be able to survive the push from Alex and from Cloud on much older tires? Dismal saying those hard, and Goat agreeing the hards are not going to last. And Hitch does pit. Vivoda thinks that he can take these maybe to the end. It's going to be very, very close, and these tires are going to be hurting as behind him, Alex does the fastest lap, and behind him, Cloud does the fastest lap. So they are pushing to get through, and now Cloud has to deal with a little bit of traffic to get to Alex. Hitch comes out in third, only 2.5 seconds behind Alex on the fresher tires. We can show the stops here. Everyone on a 2-stop except Vivoda, who is on the 1-stop in first. We have a penalty again for Cabrito, who is the only person who stopped 3 times. Kryptonic makes up another place on the hard tires. He's also in the chase, but is 5.5 seconds behind Cloud, who is going to be a tough driver to catch. Cloud looking for a place on Hitch. Maybe sees a gap, but elects not to do anything. And Heatley fighting back against Kryptonic, not giving up this place easily as he takes the place back. Going through Sector 3, is he going to get dove again? No, he's learned better from it. Kryptonic still right behind Heatley, coming through this third sector. Cloud pumps in another fastest lap, still 0.6. And these two battling. We've got battles everywhere. Vivoda looks like he's hemorrhaging time up at the front. Alex already within DRS. Hitch 1.5 behind still, and then Cloud 0.6. This is going to be quite the finish, and yeah, Vivoda losing time to the DRS. Alex powering through on these new mediums and going to make the move look pretty easy. Cuts in front, and we'll see if Vivoda decides to pit or if he's just going to try to make it to the end and see what position he can salvage with the 1-stop. But we do have Alex now, new race leader in P1. Vivoda keeps the DRS, gives DRS to Hitch, which is not helping Cloud at the back of this pack. Both pretty low on battery, Vivoda low as well, and Cloud with a 3-second time penalty. That's almost going to kill his chances of moving up, as Kryptonic and Heatley still fighting in 5th and 6th. No one with a penalty here, so they're battling for position. But Kryptonic waits and gets the move done after that second DRS zone. Doesn't give Heatley a chance to get DRS and try and get him again. And now powers through this Sector 3, as Heatley is now almost a second slower through Sector 3, and Kryptonic just blasts by on these hard tires. But Heatley did manage to hold him up about a second. Now Hitch hunting Vivoda for P2, and maybe going to try a dive down the inside already before the DRS zone. Vivoda taking the outside line, kind of letting it happen, and now Cloud going to hopefully take the spot as he goes a little wide off the track. Hitch has DRS. Looks like Vivoda doesn't have DRS. But Cloud still can't make the move, and maybe waiting for the second DRS zone, but that's going to cost him some time and maybe cost him DRS to Hitch. As Cloud now with the DRS open gets by Vivoda, who has fallen to 4th place, but I'm sure would be delighted with this finish. Kryptonic has 6.5 seconds, and we'll be sure to watch that gap probably come flying down, as Kryptonic seems like almost the fastest person on track right now, and Vivoda trying to make this one stop last on these old hards. So we'll see what happens, but Hitch now 5 tenths from Alex, both on the medium tires. Hitch is a little younger, and Cloud on those hard tires, hoping for a crossover period. But again, those hard tires are relatively old. But 5-lap mediums also old, as Cloud with another 3-second time penalty, and now it is almost certain that he will not be able to crack this top 2 with 6 seconds of time penalties. He would need a miracle. And already we see the gap coming down from Vivoda and Kryptonic. Was 6.5, now almost 4.5. Hitch not going to go for a move, going to wait for the second DRS zone. We'll see what kind of exit Alex can get, what kind of exit Hitch can get. On board with Hitch. Alex places his car right in the middle. Hitch forced to the outside. Does get the move done cleanly. Has a little bit of a snap though, and is to the outside. And Alex going to retake the lead. Almost like he never lost it there, just with a moment of oversteer for Hitch. But he's still right there, still within the DRS, and has 5 more laps to execute his pass at whatever time he wants. But this allows Cloud to sneak back in. He's not averse to racing, even with these penalties. Vivoda's gap now 3.5 seconds, almost losing 3 seconds per lap, and Heatley has not lost the back of Kryptonic after that nice battle. EA quite the gap to Heatley in front. Mike D trailing him a little bit. Red Panda coming through in 9th, and rounding out our point scores is Coach in 10th place. Zizzer behind him, again, all pretty big gaps, and Blue Knight, his teammate for the race, kind of randomly, is in 12th with almost a full battery to use to attack, and hopefully he starts deploying some of that. Caden and some of these drivers in the back kind of driving a lonely race, but not back here, as these three, the 2 McLarens and Druid and the Williams, have been giving it their all back here, battling for position. And we have a pass for the lead. The same place that Hitch did it last lap. Doesn't make a mistake around the big looping corner. Looks like Druid and a McLaren had contact that we switched off of to go see the leaders. And now Hitch up into the lead, and Cloud 8 tenths behind. Flower Boy gets a speeding in the pit lane penalty. And Alex looking to hang in there and keep DRS. Cloud, another 3-second time penalty. 9 seconds of penalties. And Vivoda has now let Kryptonic into DRS. But again, he's pulled almost a full second on Heatley in that past lap. Aubrey says you need to hit the leaders who aren't rookies. This is not for them. And Kryptonic does get by Vivoda. I think they're side by side, and yes, Vivoda still doesn't have DRS. He's been so unlucky down this front straight. Trying to get the DRS as a lapped car is the one behind, and there's Heatley coming through. Cloud looking for his way back into this battle. Vivoda gets a 3-second time penalty. That's not going to help him hold off the field, trying to go for this one stop. His tires are going to be hurting. There's been 3 safety cars, and we basically hit the lap count where there's no more safety cars. And I think 3 is the limit, so we maybe would have had one more, but I don't think so. The 3rd safety car was random. I don't know why the 3rd safety car came out. I guess a buildup of debris and someone's wing was off. So we see some lapped cars coming up, as this top 3 is still in a tight battle. And there we have Heatley passing Vivoda, who's given up the one stop and is now going in to probably throw on the softs and maybe attempt the fastest lap and try and salvage some points. Went so far to try to get that one stop to work, but didn't end up working out in the end. As here are the top three again. Cloud with a McLaren and lap traffic in between him and Alex, who's holding on to P2, trying to find a way to try and challenge Hitch for P1. But Hitch doing a good job staying out in front. Not out of DRS yet, but still out front as Mike D gets by EA for P6. No battles elsewhere down the field. Blue Knight maybe battling his teammate. Will stay on board with them through the two DRS zones as just shreds his battery down to 5%. Gap 7 tenths now. 5 tenths to Zizzer and Hitch with a 3-second time penalty. That's going to give the lead not on track, but Alex now basically in the lead of this race. But Alex under significant pressure from Cloud, who even with 9 seconds of penalties isn't one to back down from a battle on track. So you have a caution in sector 2. Alex still just barely hanging onto the DRS, and here comes Cloud through the outside. And Cloud making the move stick, probably at the crossover period between these old hards and the old mediums. But I don't know if he's going to be able to pull 9 seconds as we come into the final lap. Hitch trying to pull 3 seconds on Alex. Is at about 1.5 seconds. Can he do it? Just one mistake. EA looking for a place, as well as Blue Knight. Those are the closest drivers. And Hitch now 1.6 ahead of Alex. We'll stay watching that time, but we'll watch for some passes for position down the order for this final lap, and we'll snap back to the leaders at the end. Gap is about 1.7 now from Hitch to Alex. EA 9 tenths back. And might not even get DRS. Just over a second now crossing the detection point. We'll see if he gets DRS. Now 8 tenths, now back up to a second, and he does get DRS. As we see the gap come down again, it looks like Alex is going to be safe and take this win based on penalties. As we see the two Racing Bulls battling it out, as Cloud battling for position here. Hitch off the track a little bit, Cloud around the outside. Hitch just gives him just enough room. And Hitch beats him out to the finish, but it doesn't matter. Alex takes the win, and we're going to go back down to the Racing Bulls. As we see a bunch of drivers cross the line. Kryptonic gets the final podium position because of Cloud's 9 seconds of penalties. And Zizzer behind Blue Knight now. And he's not going to be able to make the move stick. Heatley comes in P5 and Mike D P6, EA P7. Red Panda with a generally quiet race in P8, and Vivoda after the one stop failed down to P9. Now down to P10. Coach Hits him on penalties by just under 3/10. The two Racing Bulls, Blue Knight and Zizzer, come across the line in 11th and 12th. And Caden, coming around the final sector, will be the last of the cars not to be lapped. This is Druid 14th, both McLarens 15 and 16, and Flyer DJ in 17th. As Caden crosses the line to finish P13. And it looks like we had battles everywhere, so I think it was a fun race for everyone involved, and obviously there was a bunch of safety cars, but there you have it. Your fastest lap, your driver of the day, and the most overtakes goes to Cloud. The race winner is with Alex in P1. Started second on the grid, finished in first, beating out some Tier 1 drivers as well as Kryptonic coming in P3. Cloud not the luckiest with the penalties in P4. And there is your order. So yes, this is definitely a great scout for the team principals, and maybe some reordering of rosters are needed because we will have a couple fast rookies. I will be coming out with guidance on promotions and demotions as we start the season, but obviously all these drivers will be drafted. Team principals, please check with the rookies to see what assists they're all running so that we can put them in proper tiers, or maybe advise that, if you're full traction control, maybe you should take that off and see what the pace is after that, because Tier 1 is no assists, Tier 2 is medium traction, and with most other assists on. So it's good to see this, but with the group of team principals, let's just figure everything out tomorrow and be transparent just about who's running what assists. And obviously, I'm sure we'll all talk to some of the rookies and make some draft day trades and flip some of our team rosters before they get finalized. But yeah, we pretty much have a lot of the seats throughout Tier 1 and Tier 2 filled, but obviously there can always be some changes, and I will update the team principals on any changes that I make on that and make sure the rules are clear. And we'll get a draft underway on Friday. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for signing up to race and, joining the lobby, posting your gamer tag, making this easier for me and the other admins. And eventually it'll be lobby hosts next week that are going to have to try to find everyone, track everyone down into lobbies. So thank you all for coming out and racing, and I'm excited to be expanding into a Tier 3 into Can-Am. And I hope that we can get the most competitive grid and make sure that they'll line everyone up based on pace. Might take a season or two to iron out. We obviously saw that with Tier 2. But we've learned a lot from Tier 2, and hopefully we can iron things out. A lot has changed since we introduced Tier 2, so we don't just have random reserves signing up and winning races anymore. So that is always good, and good for the morale of the drivers to not be bludgeoned over the head by a random reserve who wins by 20 seconds. So again, thank you all for racing, and I hope to see you on the grid, as all three tiers will be in Montreal next Wednesday night at the same time. And I hope to see you all at the draft on Friday. It's usually one of our most watched streams of the season. So we hope to see you there, and we hope to have a good draft and have everyone involved and get people on the Discord for interviews and things of that nature. So thank you all for watching, and thank you all for racing, and I hope you guys have a great night.